I'm glad for the result. We managed to score the goal early. And yeah, we dominated the game very well, so that's the most important thing. So we managed also to score a few goals.
Yeah. Should we start for you with your first assist? Because it starts with a really clever bit of play, because you must know that you're offside. So just tell us the picture you see, and it ends with a double nutmeg.
I think it's quite similar to Arsenal goal. Also, I was offside, then I left the ball to Darwin. This one, Lucho was shouting behind me or screaming, then I knew that it was offside.
So you've got to be really switched on for that.
Yeah, I had to run toward the goalie, the goalkeeper. Then he just get the ball and cross it to me. So I managed to pass it to Cody also. Clever play.
Please don't be insulted by this, but did you mean both of the nutmegs?
I don't think it's the first one. Second one, yes, because the only option I had this one, but the first one, I just want to go ball inside and shoot. But I was lucky to also get it inside and had to touch another time. Then yeah, but second one, yes, first one, no.
So like I said, another record-breaking season. That's now 8 games you've scored and assisted in this season. No player's ever done that over the whole 38 games. I mean, you're on course for a Ballon d'Or season here, for an all-time great Premier League season. Those individual targets, along with the Premier League title, are they really on your mind?
The only thing in my mind, to be fair, is I want Liverpool to win the league, and I just want to be part of that. That's the only thing I really focused since the beginning of the season. So I will do my best for the team to win the trophy, and we are in the right direction. But of course, there is a few other teams that really try to catch up with us, and they're very good teams. So we just need to stay focused and humble and just work hard and just go again.
When you walked into the room, I said, "Oh, Mo, you're getting better," and you said, "I tried to." How much of what we see today comes from that? You're never satisfied. You're always hungry. You're always trying to get better.
Yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy the game. To be fair, I was a little bit disappointed from a few chances I missed today. But in the end of the day, I came here for the result. I want the team to win. I want to do something in the game, and I'm glad I did. But I'm always hungry for more. Hopefully, next one I will score more. But yeah, the most important thing, again, team won the game.
Do you know, actually, during the match, I was reminded that last time you came here in April, it wasn't a happy day at all. How much did the end of it wasn't, was it? How much did the end of last season fuel what we're seeing now?
It was a funny thing you said, because the players before the dressing room, before the game in the dressing room, they also were very told me "Oh, you remember what happened here last year?" And the guys were laughing.
Who brought it up?
Virgil started with it, but yeah, we had a little laugh of that. But yeah, we had not a nice memory here last year, but I'm glad this one we had better one.
Ready for the contract question? I know you're not going to stand here and tell us, but are you hoping to be able to give some good news soon?
No, we are far away from that. But again, I don't want to put something in the media and people start saying stuff, but nothing really move on. But I'm focused with the team. Hopefully we win the Premier League.
Well, thank you for answering that. You're the player of the match, of course.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well, he's the player of the match. He's 17 goals in 18 games in the Premier League this season. He's averaging a goal, as you can see, almost every 93 minutes. We'll come to some of those numbers in a moment. You said we're nowhere near making an announcement there. In an ideal world for all Liverpool fans, would you hope when we get to January, when the window's open, when all 3 of these Liverpool players could, if they wanted to, speak to other clubs, that would be the ideal scenario for Liverpool to release a statement and say, here he is, signed, sealed and delivered?
Yeah, that's ideal, isn't it? Absolutely.
Because otherwise it's going to go on, isn't it, through this month when the window's open? And...
Yeah, but no, I don't think anyone's expecting him to leave in this window.
No, but he could announce something, couldn't he, for the end of the season?
Yeah. Well, in January he could, yeah, but that's going to happen, though. He's going to get to... nothing's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 days, so that's going to happen, that bird's flow. And I think at some point it will just happen and it'll just go bang and you know... But I don't think people will be getting regular updates, let's say, from the club. You know, these things tend to happen in private, and obviously with 3 big players, it's getting a lot of traction, a lot of news, a lot of columns in the newspapers and whatever. But I don't think there will be a drawn-out period or a preparation period, let's say, from the club or from Mo Salah from that point of view. He'll keep getting asked, and he'll probably keep batting it off since his first one, when he first came out. But as I say, I mean, I've said on this show a few times, I'm still confident that Mo Salah will sign. I don't see why or where or anything else he should go. And if he was that against signing, he would never have came out in the first place and made a bit of a fuss about it. That sounded like a person that wants to get something done, but is a little bit agitated that it wasn't happening quick enough, let's say. So I'd be more confident with Mo Salah and with Virgil van Dijk for that matter. I'm a little bit not sure about Trent Alexander-Arnold. That's the one that I'm not that confident about. I just think that the stars align, the pieces fit in the jigsaw. Real Madrid desperate for a right back. You know, their current right back's ageing. Their current right back has got a cruciate knee ligament injury. They're desperate for a right back. Trent Alexander-Arnold, nothing left on his contract. On a free at the end of the year. It's a new challenge. His good friend Jude Bellingham's out there. There's a lot of things that piece together that makes me think, you know what, that one could happen. I'd be more confident about Virgil and Mo Salah staying.
I mean, who on earth would get their head turned by the white shirt of Real Madrid when you're playing for Liverpool anyway? Is that the only downside for Liverpool fans at the moment? Because everything on the pitch is inch perfect. But these three major players off it, all out of contract at the end of the season, is the talk of every Liverpool supporter that you bump into at the moment.
Well, like I say, I think they're doing fantastic for the football club. They're staying very, very present. All of them, they're available every single week. We're seeing so many injuries throughout the Premier League, throughout the footballing world. These guys play at the highest level. They represent their country. I think they're absolutely fantastic what they're doing. They're staying so focused. They're staying so calm. They're playing at such a high level. Football's a business. They're making business decisions and they're staying calm and they're letting the people above them have the conversations. But who knows what those conversations are? I certainly don't, and all of us would be speculating. We're putting jigsaw pieces together. I just want to give great credit to three top players who are doing a fantastic job in a really difficult league. And they're showing up every single week, making themselves available and putting themselves on the line and doing an incredible job.
That's a really good point, isn't it? Because, joking apart, you have been in this situation, and it is easy for your head to be somewhere else sometimes with uncertainty, short-term certainly, not knowing where you're going to be next season in case of all three of them. But it hasn't for one iota affected any of them at any time. Quite the opposite.
Quite the opposite, yeah. They're all, in fact, if you could create a more perfect scenario, I don't think you could really. I mean, the way Mo Salah's value is going up week by week. I mean, I bet you Liverpool wish they had done it a year ago. It might have been a little bit cheaper. Now, you can't be without him. You can't be without Virgil van Dijk. These are two, probably, you're looking at the best right-sided forward and the best centre-half in the world. You just don't find them anywhere else, and they're proving it every single week. And they're going further and further clear in the Premier League, and they're at the top of the Champions League table, and they're in the semi-finals of the Cup, and the other Cup's about to start. This is they are in the best position possible. If you're looking at the business decision that Joe's talking about, they're absolutely flying from that point of view. So yeah, but fair play to them as well. As you say, you can get a little bit distracted. It's more worrying if you're not you don't feel like you're in a strong position, or if the club are not showing you love. If they're thinking of selling you or things like that, that can distract you because you're thinking, right, they don't really love me. Where am I going to go next, etc. But at the moment, they'll be clambering to sign them. I mean, it's impossible that anything else could be the case. And they're holding all of the aces in this negotiation.
Senior pros in a dressing room in a Premier League, which isn't necessarily all about ability. The levels are so high. You've got two senior pros and Trent to an extent. I know he's only 26
He's
in
the
numbers.
vice-captain though, Joe, isn't he?
He's the vice-captain, and you've got a new manager that's coming, and it has gone great. Absolutely brilliant. Arne Slott's done a fantastic job. But there are going to be moments. There's no Jordan Henderson anymore. There's no James Milner anymore. There's these really high standard setters that people who are trying to come through, who are trying to find their feet, the Darwin Núñez, the Harvey Elliott's, Curtis Jones, as much as they're trying to get better and improve, they know they've got that safety blanket. They've got, well, Virgil's going to perform. We know that Mo's going to perform and score us goals. We know that Trent's going to create something out of nothing. That is an incredible safety blanket away from the business side of things and away from how they're playing to help progress the younger players to watch what a great example they are as professionals. So there's so many different elements to this.
Yeah. Let's look at Mo Salah today. I know we sometimes joke about assists, which we'll come to in a moment, but they were proper assists today. But his goal, West Ham again, caught in possession.
Yeah, they got caught in possession, but this is what Liverpool do. I mean, they hunt down in packs, they try to win the ball back early. That takes a lot of energy because those same players that are trying to win the ball back, they're then winning the ball and then they're back on the offensive. So they're doing a double shift there while, you know, the centre-halves are stood on the halfway line watching and admiring. They're putting in all the work. So it's brilliant play. You can only do that if you're really fit, if you've got the right attitude, and tactically you're all spot on. And it was a really good finish by Mo Salah. He took his first touch with the sole of his foot, almost rolled it away from him, and then he knew what he was going to do beforehand. He gave the goalkeeper the eyes, pulled it into the near post, and he's become a real top finisher. I didn't think I'd ever say that 10 years ago, not many people. In fact, lots of people thought he was a really poor finisher. Now he's just become, through practice and dedication and the right mindset, and I suppose doing it, you know, the more you do something, the better you get, the better your decision-making becomes. And now he's all of a sudden, you know, lethal in front of goal and very rarely misses.
Yeah, and from a defender goalkeeper's point of view, you have, I guess, these certain players, like Areola would have been today. It's Mo Salah. In fact, he always seems to score against West Ham. I think it's his second favourite team, 13 he's got against them now. So you just got that extra edge when you're facing these guys.
Well, yeah, look, he's rolled it out of his feet there, like Michael said, to do his trademark finish into the far top corner and managed to rip it back past Kilman, I think it was. So Areola's already hedged his bets to go to his right. As I said at half-time, he's actually more agile than he gave himself credit for and got there quite comfortably, but he's scrambling your head. The Mo Salah finish is out of his feet into the far corner, and when he doesn't do it, not quite sure, ends up making a bad decision with his left hand where, look, this is completely hypothetical, but this is someone else. Say Curtis Jones did the same thing. His mind's not as scrambled, he's a little bit more set, and maybe he makes the save. Again, totally hypothetical, but I'm just talking from a goalkeeper's point of view. You almost brace yourself when you're up against someone who's at the high level that Mo Salah is.
Wow, that is fascinating.
Well, it is, and I was thinking it actually in the game before. We were watching Erling Haaland, and he started adding a dink to his game now. And lots of goalkeepers will now stand up tall for a lot of the time. And now he can bring back the slot finish at any point. When you mix it up a little bit, you leave these guys guessing, and that's what Mo Salah's got. You know, as I say, he used to be quite one-dimensional. He would miss a lot of chances. Now he can go either side. I've seen him dink the goalkeeper. I've seen him go round the goalkeeper. He mixes it up. He's actually an all-round finisher now, and that's a problem for anybody. Even another attribute, he was running through at the end, and I'm thinking, solo goal, 4-0, he's going to go for it. So as a goalkeeper, you're almost set for Salah to shoot, and then he shifts it to Jota. And I'm just giving you the perspective of the goalkeeper. You can end up getting yourself in a zone for a certain player so prolific. You talked about Erling Haaland at the start of the season. I think we were doing it together. He didn't have that dink. He was almost open up in the kind of left-footed Henry. And then at the start of the season, he was quite comfortably ripping it back across. Then it was at West Ham, actually. Then he dinked. And I'm thinking as a goalkeeper, like, how can... You end up setting very neutrally, thinking he could do anything here. And if he does any kind of decent finish, you're done. Whereas other players, you can kind of, as a goalkeeper, you'll sit up against them, someone you've got slightly less respect for, I hate to say it, but you stand up and almost shift them in a position where you want to make that save. But right now with Mo Salah, you just have to stay incredibly neutral. And you will see goals going in fairly central with him because the goalkeeper is literally planning for anything. And the speed of the ball goes past him.
Wonderful insight. 17 in 18 league games for Mo Salah this season. Here's the man who's delighted to have him now. And he hopes he's got him next season and beyond as well. The Liverpool manager, Arne.
Arne, another seriously impressive performance from your team. How much did you enjoy it?
A lot, but it's because it doesn't happen many times that I could just sit back and enjoy. And I thought it was the situation against Tottenham when we were 5-1 up, but that they came back to 5-3. But today we kept control over the game and won with 5-0.
Do you feel like you've gone up a gear in the last few weeks? You mentioned the Spurs game where you scored 6. I don't know, maybe since the week of Real and City, do you feel like you've found another level as a team?
I think it's always a bit in a season. We've spoken about before the game about conceding the chances. Today, I think we conceded 2 or 3. One hit the bar, one hit the post. So and Leicester got 2 chances and scored 1. So that is a bit also in attack. So I think during the whole season we've created quite a lot of chances. And now, like on a day like today, we scored many. Although I said to the players just a second ago that it was 3-0 at half time, but it wouldn't have been weird if after 10 minutes it would have already been 3-0 because we created a lot of chances today.
Hard to think of new Mo Salah questions for you, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Contract.
well, we'll leave that to the end. Is he the best player in the world at the moment? Do you think he must be close?
If you look at his numbers, you can't argue that. But there are different players playing in different leagues, so that have a lot of quality. But Mo is definitely up there at the moment. If you look at his numbers, but also like today, he could have even scored more. But I also liked again his work rate for the team without the ball. So yeah, he's in a very good place. You can't argue about that. And let's hope he can stay like this for a long time.
In a team sense, everyone will pick out different things. What did you like most today?
The way we played with the ball, the way we positioned ourselves, the amount of chances we created, the control we took over the game. In an away game, it's always difficult because there were I think 2 or 3 minutes in the game where we lost a few easy balls and immediately the fans were behind the team. So to control an away game is not always easy because the fans don't always need a lot to be happy about if they play Liverpool. But I don't think we gave the West Ham fans a lot today to cheer about, and that was the most positive thing.
So obviously this is the last game of the year. Give us Arne Slot's review of 2024 from a personal point of view. Obviously began with you in Rotterdam, manager of another big club in Feyenoord, ends with you, manager of Liverpool, top of the Premier League. How would you sum it up for yourself?
Yeah, as a great year. So working at a great club at Feyenoord, I was wondering, can I find another club where I can even have a better time now? At the moment, I can say it's definitely not less or not as good as my time at Feyenoord. It's probably even better because it's special to do this in another country as well. Great players to work with in both teams. And a whole year with only 1 loss.
Is that right?
That was Nottingham Forest. So,
and they're second now.
And they are second now, yeah. So it's been a good half season at Feyenoord and there's been a good half of a season here at Liverpool.
So you won a league with Feyenoord. What is the key to seeing it through?
Consistency, enough challenges will come ahead of us, starting with Man United at home, which is a big game. Even if you don't look at the league table, it's already a big game, let alone you want to keep your lead as long as you can. So I think it's 9 games in the month of January, if you include the 1st of February, which is of course not January, but you know what I mean. So many games are played. You saw today again injury of Joe Gomez.
How is he?
If a player says he wants to stop, he has to be changed in a sprint. Then we all know it's a hamstring, and we all know it's going to take a while before he's back. I don't know how long, but he will be out for quite a bit. And these situations can happen in the season, so a long way to go, but a very good first half year.
So should we do the contract question now?
If you want to. You already know the answer.
Yeah, of course. I just wondered.
Maybe I can ask the question and you answer it.
Well, go on then.
What about Mo's contract?
Well, I mean, he's just been in and talk about it.
I always answer. We don't talk in public.
I didn't get the joke. Sorry, I'm a bit slow.
Yeah.
But does much change in January for the outside world? It kind of feels like it does. They can speak to other clubs, but does it on the inside?
Not on the inside, but on the outside, it definitely does, because probably even people talk even more about it, not only about these 3, but also about other players, because it's always a month where players can make a transfer as well. So it's not only this upcoming month about the 3, probably it's going to be about the ones we bring in or the ones who could also leave. So that is always the thing in, I think it's somewhere around August, and the thing in January.
Is Trent the biggest worry? Sorry to ask a second one, but with the other 2, it just feels a bit more positive. We saw Trent's celebration today. The mood music around him feels a bit more negative.
No, I don't think it's negative at all. He's playing really well, scored a great goal, and the way he celebrated his goal probably tells you enough. So I don't think I have to say much more about it. I'm really happy with Trent, just as happy as I am with Mo and with Virgil. So for me, there's no difference. For the outside world, maybe there's a bit more things happening around Trent in the media than with the other two, but yeah, I'm happy with all three of them at the moment.
Expertly navigated, as always. Happy New Year.
Right, too. Thank you.
Cheers.
We're lucky enough to have spent time with him. I mean, how good is he as a communicator? I mean, he's got three of his main players there, as we've been talking about, as everyone's talking about, who in 5 months have no contract at Liverpool Football Club as we sit here. You wouldn't think so, given his persona, would you?
No, and that's what I think. If you ask me, what do I like about him the most? It's his demeanour, his confidence, his control. Doesn't look flustered with anything. There will be things that will go wrong in his tenure at Liverpool, but if he handles them all like he's handled everything so far, then Liverpool are in real safe hands. But right from the first minute, we were 10 yards away from him as he stood on the side of the pitch for the first game of the season away at Ipswich, and we looked at each other and said, yeah, he's just the signs, what he was saying, how he was acting when we spoke to him after. I just thought, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. Now there are going to be problems. He's walked into a great club with great players, all at the peak of their powers, all with winning mentalities, all with experience of being there, seeing it and done it. Of course, that's a great start when you're walking into a new club. And there are going to be things that go wrong. Maybe some of the star players leave at the end of the season. Who knows? So he's going to have some big challenges. But on all the evidence that we've seen so far, as I say, I think Liverpool have picked right, and I think they're in really safe hands going forward.
He's fussed without an umbrella. We know that touchline after a game at Anfield.
You sorted him, though, don't worry.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. When you look at Mo Salah's numbers, as we saw before, another record today: 20 goals for 8 consecutive seasons in a Liverpool shirt. No one's ever done that. Even the great Ian Rush only managed 6. The consistency of the player.
Consistency, professionalism, the will to get better. You know, we all saw him, and we remember, well, briefly when he was at Chelsea, then he went away, Fiorentina, Roma, heard noises of him sounded like he was finding his groove, finding his rhythm. And then he came back to Liverpool and a few eyebrows raised. But he has got better and better and better and better, and he looks so confident, so dominant in the position that he's in, and you wouldn't put it past him doing that if he signs a contract, obviously with Liverpool, for doing it a few more years to come. Incredible physically, mentally. He's making it look really, really, really easy.
Give us a sense as a striker to do that. Let's just say Ian Rush only managed 6 in a row and dropped below 20 in a couple of his seasons. To do that season in, season out, and have the desire and hunger to go again and hit those kind of consistent numbers.
Well, obviously I didn't hit those, so I mean, only he could probably explain it. But
did you even have 8 consecutive seasons at Liverpool?
I'm not quite sure.
No, I think it was a white shirt in Spain that took you away, so move on swiftly.
The reason he's like that is what's between his ears. All the greats, all the champions, they are wired differently to the rest. People can all say, oh yeah, I want to be the best player in the world, I want to score a goal. Of course you want to, of course you want to. But some people just do it and have the mentality to do it and have that eye of the tiger to do it. And every single breath that they take, every single time they go to bed, every time they sit at the meal table, it's an obsession. Whatever they're doing, whatever they're fueling their body with, whatever rest they're taking, whatever they do, they can't do it without being obsessed. What's next? When's the next training set? How am I going to get better? When's the next match? How am I going to recover to get fit for the next one? All of these things are just... And he lives in the gym. He lives for breaking records. He lives for scoring goals and that feeling it gives him. He lives for winning things. And everybody think they do. Everybody thinks they do, but they don't. You know, he absolutely lives for it, and his mentality is to be the absolute best. And he believes he's the best. He thinks he's the best in the world, no question about it. It's for us lot to debate who is and all that, and people up and down the country and all around the world to debate what we think, and it's assisted by numbers. But in his own little world, Mo Salah believes and thinks and knows he's the best player in the world. And as I say, it's not that he thinks it, or he wants it, or he hopes for it. He does it and lives it. And when everybody else thinks they're doing it, they're not. He is absolutely, on it 24/7. And when he retires, he'll realise it himself that he was different to everybody else. But until that day, he just thinks that, that this is it. And he's just tuned in that way.
You're feeling a little bit on love there, so I've got them digging. 7 full seasons at Liverpool, and you hit 20 in 5 of them, which is remarkable.
That'll do.
You happy with that?
I'll do. Half qualified to answer the last question then.
And not for today, but he's just been asked, Arne Slot, is he the best player in the world at the moment? He's got to be up in the greats of the Premier League, the way he's going, hasn't he?
Absolutely. Yeah, he's got to be up there. I mean, we will decide that, I think, at the end of his career. At the moment, I'm saying he's probably top 6 to have ever played in the Premier League. Top 6, top 8. Give it another season or two, he could shoot right the way through and be one of the best ever.
Well, Julen, obviously really disappointing to lose like that, especially at home, even against a team as good as Liverpool. How would you assess your players' performance today?
No, the first of all we are very sad for our fans above all, because we are disappointed for sure. In the way that we lost, lost. It's true that we are talking about the best team in the Premier League and one of the best team around the world. But I think that we can and we have to do other face above all at home in front of our fans. That's why I am very sorry about this. I'm very sad because it's true that today I have to see the match again, but we had one moment in the start after they had the first chance, before we have one chance, very clear chance, and after we can draw the match with more kudos, but it's true that they deserve more. And in the half the match was gone, so he has been a tough day for us, yes.
So what was particularly disappointing about the way that you lost the game? Not enough fight from the players?
No, I think that today we have been very far of them in all the things about with the ball, without ball. We can do better. We have to do better in both situations, and to compete better today against this kind of team. You can lose, but it's true that if you are not able to stay in the competitive frequency that they demand you, it's very difficult. So we have to look forward, but don't forget this day.
Yeah, difficult one for them. Conceded 5 at home to Arsenal, now 5 at home to Liverpool as well. And West Ham didn't have a shot on target today. The first time that has happened in 90-plus minutes of the Premier League in 3.5 years. So the obvious question is, where do West Ham go from here, Joe?
I honestly don't have the answer for that. They seem to put themselves in some really difficult positions, and then every now and again they'll put together some sort of run, a scrappy win last game, just to kind of keep their head above the water. But it's a big club, with spending a lot of money on good players, an incredible stadium. I've played in that stadium. I've been a part of it. I know we obviously talk about the previous stadium that they were in, Upton Park, and the atmosphere, but that's long gone now. That's not a conversation anymore. They're in a state-of-the-art stadium. In the heart of London. It's difficult, there's so much potential there, but it doesn't seem like anyone's able to really take control of it.
I mean, you shouldn't hark back, but this time last season, they were 6th with David Moyes, and West Ham fans, we know, don't want to hear that, but £160 million later, here they are, not having a shot on target.
Yeah, they're finding it hard in recent years. As you mentioned, David Moyes, you can't not hark back to it because he was successful. He did win a trophy in Europe. And they keep trying to find somebody else, and it's just not quite working. And they're throwing money at it. And you actually look at the squad, you look at the players. Joe touched on it there. They've got some really good players. I mean,
so are the players underperforming, or is the manager not getting as much as you should do out of that squad that's been assembled?
I would guess that it's a similar answer, similar question in many ways. Yeah, the players are underperforming, or the manager's not getting the most out of them, one or the other, but both is the answer. So he's under huge pressure now, I feel. I think there was murmurings, and Joe rightly said, when they're on the back foot, they tend to get a result that you don't expect, and all of a sudden that buys him another few weeks. But West Ham fans aren't happy with what they're seeing. It's not much fun seeing your team getting beaten 5-0 at home, even by a great team like Liverpool at the moment. I think his days are numbered unless something turns around quite quickly. Because this is a team that's been invested in. There's lots of money been spent around West Ham for a few years now. They have got better players than they're showing. And it's your job as a coach. If you've got the tools to do the trade, then people will forgive you if you've not got much good players and you're battling and scrapping for points. But when you've got the players that he's got, I mean, some of the attacking players, Kudus, Bowen, they're top class. They would walk into most teams. Paquetá, brilliant player. Souček gets goals. They've got a lot of sitting defensive midfield players that they've spent money on. Their wide players, are very talented too. I mean, it's a very good team, but they're not getting the right results. So obviously, the axe tends to fall on the manager, and that's going to happen very soon, I fear, if he doesn't turn things around.
They are generally a more patient club, though, out of some of the others in the Premier League. You just wonder how much patience is left.
It's what they want.
They've lost 8 already, Joe.
You need to know what they want. You need to know what the objectives are for the season. Obviously that conversation is always going to come back to the David Moyes era of what he did recently with the team. But as Michael talked about there, obviously made some great movement with the Declan Rice, made some incredible money, looked to reinvest it. It's not quite worked. Coaches coming in. We look at the Pellegrini in between, the Moyes coming back. Something's not right. No one's really found the flow or the rhythm that the club has kind of set itself up to do at the moment. What else is out there, I don't know, but it's definitely a difficult moment for West Ham.
Yeah.
Particularly with the transfer window coming.
Well, that's the interesting bit, isn't it? Because owners have got that big decision now, haven't they? Do we stick with our manager? And if we don't let them spend any money, we're basically saying, yeah, we're sticking with you, but we don't really have any confidence in you. So you might as well just cut them loose there and then. Or you do it now and you say, you know what, it's not going well. We're going to keep our powder dry, employ somebody else and let them have the funds, back that new manager. So it's a difficult, precarious position at the moment. And West Ham and the board have got a few big decisions. They might let this one go and see what happens in the next game, but it can't go on much longer, I don't think.